All right. Let's make sure we're live everywhere. Yep, we are live. Thank you so much for joining us
Hello, everyone.
on Sunday service with the Morrisons. That's what this is. So we are so excited to be here. We're going to be sharing and talking about things that we know that will help you in your life, especially to have a loving, long, healthy marriage or even partnership. Two people that are together and doing what grown people do. So we are super, super grateful for you coming on and watching. And if you're watching on TikTok, I would appreciate you if you would tap that screen, give us those likes. But my name is Tammy Morrison, and this is my husband David. And so we are gonna share a little bit about a little bit of things. So baby, take it away.
Hey, show us some love no matter where you're watching us from. Remember, it's not polite just to stare. So do like we do. If you pass through and you pause for a second, just show us some love.
Say hey.
Throw it out there where you're listening from. We're out here in outside the great Seattle area.
And make sure you share it out as you're coming across it for other people that might want to check it out.
Like, share, follow. We follow back.
Yeah.
We're representing Georgia here and Brooklyn here on the other side. Let us know what your weather is like also.
Yeah.
We have these nice heavy robes on because it's in the 50s outside and we don't turn heat or air on when it's like that. So we just wrap up. So it's really beautiful. I love it. Tammy's liking it. She still like Arizona.
It's chilly
to a certain season.
It's
yeah,
it's chilly. It's chilly. But the thing is, y'all, not only that, it was like summer yesterday. It was beautiful. The sun was shining. I mean, I didn't have to have a jacket or a sweater. And to me, if I have a jacket or a sweater here, then it's beautiful and it's good. Didn't have to have a jacket or a sweater. I think I even wore a short sleeve shirt, right? Short sleeve or a thin shirt. And, it was nice. And then today, totally not that. No sun. It was a little rain earlier, but that stopped. We'll start back. But in no sun, and it's chilly, So it's like, God, what am I gonna do? It's so cold. But anyway, so what we talking about today, baby?
We came on here today, although we started to take a break. However, the spirit reminded us someone needs to hear it because we don't hear too much authentication from couples and people that's been on the planet. Between me and Tammy, we have over 100 years on the planet together. And a lot of people take their knowledge, wisdom, understanding to the grave with them instead of sharing out. Right. Knowledge is the foundation of all things in existence, and you grow our age by gaining that knowledge, wisdom, understanding, or you just get foolish and continue down that road of foolishness in life. And I like to say we haven't done so. God be the glory to that. And we just like to share out some of the things we experience, some of the things that you might connect with, that we're going through, that you're probably going through, but you don't have nobody just to reach out and talk about, and you don't hear it from other people. But we're all going through, or we have been through something. And we thank God that we're at the age now where we have went through, and we're seeking a lot of the benefits of life, of great choices, not so great choices, and choices to come.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully you get something out of it. I'm hail from a large family in the Northeast, and a family of many business ventures. My dad did business in the auto business, electronics business, and in the days of the first colored TVs, and putting picture tubes and tubes in the TV. Some people can relate to that. And having a shop doing that, running a pawn shop and running an auto business. And so that said, it gave me the mind of venturing a lot, and even a painting business. And and I got my hands into the business, and my dad thought it was going to pass on to the sons. It's just that I we didn't have the same desire that he did, and but going from 7 years old on up, I stayed pretty busy, and I was one to really gain from it more than the pain from it, if you know what I'm saying. Some people go through pains in their life, and it stays with them all their life. In mine, I can't say it didn't affect me. Some of the pains of working real hard from 7 years on old on up. Today they call it child labor. So it helped me in life. It strengthened me because
Right.
after going through that, everything else I started going through started feeling easy. And some people, even in my life, the closest people to me, even some of my children, I've said pretty much in different ways. Well, that's all it is, or in a way, that's all you have. But they look at it like I thought small of the situation. But it's not that I think small. It's just that when you go through a lot, uh, things don't seem that rough, that tough. And some of the work I deal with now, I heard someone complaining one day about his situation, and he was about half my age. And I said, "Listen, young man, you're complaining to the wrong person." And I was in an environment where this could have backfired, but when I told him that, he got a little bit upset. I said, "You're complaining to the wrong person." I said, I started sleeping in the mud, the dirt, the ice, the snow, the rain when I was 17 years old. You know, that's going in the military, starting out in Fort Jackson, South Carolina in the Army, and then retiring from the Navy. And in a place, some of you that went through Fort Jackson haven't heard of, if you heard the history of, it was Tank Hill. It was one of the roughest places you can go through. Delta 1 1, number one motivation, and then it was Delta 3 2, King of the Hill. At that particular time, when I did go in there, being a New Yorker and then being stationed in South Carolina, I couldn't understand why it was so hard on me back then. But it was a great divide between the North and the South. I don't care what race you were, but if you were from the North and you were stationed in South Carolina, you felt it. And I couldn't relate to that back then. I didn't know why I was singled out a lot of time, but at the same time, they thought they thought I had attitude because a lot of things didn't bother me. I what I noticed is sometimes even my own children think I'm not affected by things that go on. My ex the same way. It's just that I don't get excited in life. Even in my work that I do now, I don't get excited. I don't get jot. Uh, uh, I don't get jostled easy as far as getting excited about things that's going on around me. Instead, I think through it. It helped me in my military leadership, but I retired. Some of you can relate to it as a company commander, a lead company commander for HTA school in Philadelphia. That's being a person charged of up to 225 people, and that's like a community. if you know what I'm saying. Everything that happened in civilian life happens there. We had one incident, um, and being from Brooklyn, you being from New York, period. And through life, I just know New York. You had to grow up quick back in the day, and it's still true. And you either grow up quick and you survive, or you fall behind. And I was one that survived and grew up quick, so I could see BS coming a mile away. And I had two individuals, um, that I was appointed in charge of doing HTA school in Philadelphia, Philadelphia Naval Base, and well, we call it Philadelphia Naval Training Center, Fleet Combat Training Center. These two individuals, they were always up to mischief. They probably was in the late teens, early 20s. And when I say mischief, not stuff that really get you locked up, but I knew it was coming. These two individuals from Chicago, and I felt like nobody should fail under my watch. If they worked under my command, I didn't feel like they should fail. So I did everything in my power to make sure they made it through while they was under my watch. So these two individuals, I called it extra attention. I provided them with extra attention, and they had my full undivided attention because they were always up to stuff. So I kept them busy, and they complained to my higher ups. I think it was my actually it got to my executive officer. And the executive officer had a thing for me that I don't know today exactly where it came from. I don't know. Maybe I look like the guy who dated his daughter in the past or whatever. But he was just bent on not making life easy for me.
He was trying to destroy you.
Yeah, Tammy said it right, trying to destroy. But at the same time, I didn't give him no excuses. I did my job. I did it very well. And I had the commanding officer. I had his utmost respect, and he was over the executive officer. But it got to the executive officer that I was giving these guys extra attention, and so I basically told to back off them, even though I explained that if these guys are not kept busy, they're going to cause embarrassment to not only the command but to the U.S. Navy, and that was ignored. But like I said, you get insight, and when you're in your 30s and you got guys in their teens, early 20s, trying to do things that you grew up around and you've seen and you've avoided, and all of a sudden they trying to throw it in your face like it's new to you, like First Chronicles says, it's nothing new, not there's nothing new under the sun. No, no, not none. Um, so these two individuals went. They was AWOL, pretty much absent without leave. They wind up in Chicago. And the point I'm getting is how to follow your instinct sometime, no matter what. When you know you're right, you're right. When these two individuals went AWOL, they wind up on the front page of the news at the time in Chicago. They had no need for money because even though the military don't make you rich, they provide you with everything. So, but they went out there and they carjacked somebody, and I know why they did it. You can probably guess they did it just because they could. And this
That's
turned out,
terrible.
yeah, it turned out to be an embarrassment and a humiliation,
Awful.
like I had said to not only the command but the United States Navy. And when this happened, I was looked at a little bit different. It didn't change the executive officer's opinion. He felt like I should have did something to stop it, even though he got in my way. Of course, you know how the military is sometimes, especially back in the day. It was unreasonable in a lot of ways. But I used to tell people, no matter how much you love the military,
Wait. You said unreasonable?
Yeah.
Oh, I think it needs to be
Yeah.
elevated.
Yeah, and no matter how much you love the military, it won't love you back. So you get what you can, and you do what you can. But it provided me a good a great retirement, and I'm grateful for that. And I have nothing bad to say about the military or working for the government. Um, but that said, uh, that was a great learning curve for myself, for them. You follow your instinct. Yeah, I couldn't go for and do anything else in that situation, but I did what I can. But don't don't doubt the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that you gain in life. If you get a chance to push it forward, share it out. Make it known. Like I said, a lot of us, we go to the grave with all of that, and I know Tammy have had experiences at work, because Tammy is one. She's been in the medical field for over 30 years,
Mhm.
and sometimes because of her look of youth, people doubt that sometimes, and sometimes she's been so fed up at going into some of the jobs she have in the past, because she's retired now. Uh, um, that she says, "Oh, man, I cannot believe I got to go into this blankety blank place," and I say, "Tammy, you're there for a reason. It got you going in for a reason. And when you look at it like that, a lot of times it make it about purpose. We do
And
things,
it
and
shifts your energy.
yeah, we do things, and no matter how I feel, I speak a different word, and Tammy can attest to that. When
It's
I
true.
arrive at work every day, I thank God that it's Monday. I thank God that it's Hump Day. I
Yeah.
thank God that it's almost Friday. I thank you if you get the gist of it. And
You're grateful.
yeah, and even the people I work with, I constantly tell them,
Oh,
well,
goodness.
thank God we're able to come to work. When I
Yeah.
hear a complaint, when I hear a complaint about the pay, well, thank God
And they have your age.
we're able to, and they haven't made the little bit of money that I've made. They started out making decent money, and I had to come up to that level. And of course, with me and Tammy's business venture, I'm glad and I'm grateful that we're at the point in life we work now, because we do feel like we have something to give back. And it's always good to have residual income where you don't have to touch your investments and things like that. So I'm happy that we're at that point in life, and we're grateful for
Yeah.
it, Tammy.
How could I even follow that?
Well, you do have a lot, because Tammy have been in places, you guys, where she know that she's made a difference, because she realized the purpose and the people that was set in front of her. Because we're all placed here on the earth not for ourselves, and when we realize that, it, it changes the whole our whole concept of life. And sometimes it's not even for our children. We raise them, and then we have to
Let
we
them
have to
go.
back up and let that be, because the biggest purpose is not yet came.
So
You know.
so sometimes it is like that for me because I wasn't a person to work long years at jobs because and it took me a long time to realize too that sometimes I truly believe that the spirit would drop me into these places like an angel to help some of the people that were there, because I worked in different facilities and different hospitals and different rehabs, hospice, home health, you name it, I pretty much did it. And so, but I would be there for a specific time. And I knew that, I never felt like I would just work somewhere for 40 years. It just never was something I even ever saw myself doing. I never saw that. I always believed that, I'm supposed to have my own business and all that kind of stuff, even though I worked for decades and worked a lot, 2, 3, 4. It was not unusual. Pretty much I always had 2 jobs at least, and sometimes 3, sometimes 4. But but I realized also once I got that, I was like, okay, it kind of helped me settle down some because I realized that, I was sent to places, for a particular time. I wasn't going to be there forever, but I was going to be there long enough to make a difference and, be who I was and who I am. And so that's another thing because that actually is one of those things that once you realize, who you are and what you're there for, it makes it a little bit easier as well. And then you also realize when your time is up. And sometimes that's hard. Sometimes that's the hard part. Your time is up and you realize it. And maybe, because you've gotten attached to people. And really, honestly, it would be people getting attached to me, patients, staff, everybody, and everybody begging me, don't leave, don't leave, don't leave. But I know my time is up. It's time for me to go. I need to go and be someplace else with some other people and help them.
Yeah. Tammy's cutting off her teapot, I think. That's something we find very helpful in life. We don't believe in the word diet. However, we try to incorporate the right things in life to keep us healthy. We find out some of these teas that we put together and a certain amount of cutting back on our meats and increasing our fruit and vegetables and juicing and things of that nature help keep us together the way we should, because we both come from families of from our roots in the South where people have lived a long life, like my great grandmother 110 and my grandmother 102, I believe. I get corrected when I say 102, 103. Uh, um, but talk about wisdom, and 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 I put this out there as much as I can because some of you realize how important it is to have a connection, a physical connection with somebody that was born in the 1800s. And I had physical connections with my both of my grandmothers, one born in the 1880s and one born in the 1890s. And these women were to me women of greatness, and they taught me how to look at women in a different way, even just the awe I had being around these women. And my father's mother, Carrie Ann Morrison, who live in Westchester County up in New Rochelle, which was back in the day, it was very prominent neighborhood. And matter of fact, uh, in my in my early teens, I actually caddied up there in all the big golf courses. I can remember some of the name, Wingfoot and uh, Mamaroneck, I believe. But that said, that grandmother, she was so amazing. I just went out my way to spend time with her. Whenever I got tired of being pushed around by my dad, I would disappear, and my parents would find that I was up there with my grandmother, about a 2-hour bus and train ride away. And my grandmother would finally tell me, "Okay, you got to go back home now." But while I was up there with her, uh, um, she taught me prayer. Uh, she she wasn't a lady that was open to touch. That was how our culture kind of was back in the day.
Thank you for the roses.
And
Thank y'all for the lights.
yeah, thank you for the likes and the roses, and thank you for not just there and just following and following in, and we follow you back, and the love, the heart, the response, the remarks. So, but my grandmother, Carrie Ann Morrison, actually would ask me to lay hands on her because back in the day, a lot of our culture didn't go to doctors because they were treated really bad.
I don't like that.
And my grandmother was no exception. And she would actually get peace when I would lay hands on her at 13 years old. And I still have some of her recipes. Of course, I refined some of them, and because she would sit down in the living room while she would call out to me in the kitchen and say, "Okay, grab some of that season on the right hand side and put that in there." And she had a little superstitious, not a little superstitious thing going on. She said, you spill some of that salt, now throw some in the fire, or throw some over your right shoulder right there." It was the right or left shoulder. And but
That's a southern thing.
yeah, yeah. Even she was from what was was hailed from the South. A lot of people in North Carolina don't call themselves the South, but when you get to New York, they everything below New Jersey is the South, even Philadelphia. Sorry, Philly. But at the same time, uh, it it was just amazing, but having that experience in life, to meet greatness like that, because to me that's greatness. And one of my great grandmothers passed when I was a little kid, uh, who was born in the mid 1800s. So when you have that kind of connections, physical connections, you know a lot about the planet, you know a lot about the country.
Yeah.
I've had to check people that I've worked with, because young people in particular, and older. But one young man, I remember, he was finishing up his graduate degree in I think it was in it had something to do with social.
Social work?
That's not what it's called, but some of you know what it is. But it was it was dealing with social events, to where he thought he was schooled in that area. But I had to correct him. I said, I grew up in this in the time that you're studying about, and I could tell you that's not how it happened. And when he tried to debate, I said, well, and I have family that lived in that history, and that's not how it happened. So a lot of times we're not in this country, we're not really taught correctly on what really is going on throughout history. Uh, to and that's not a good thing for anybody, because knowledge is power, and
I mean,
Un,
because what if there was nobody that was around to share the history? You
yeah,
see what I'm saying? What if you weren't there to see that the history wasn't right?
yeah.
Because certain things, they print and they put in the book, it's not exactly how it happened, and they count on the fact that the people that were there won't be around when they put the books out. If that makes sense.
Well, we go through a lot of things throughout the world and throughout history, where if you tell a lie long enough, it'll be believed by some, and after a while, they'll be believed by the masses. So that said, uh, uh, reading
Fundamental and
is
fun.
is fundamental
And fun.
and fun, and you want to open your mind in life, and that's what me and Tammy's about. We both like we both like reading. We like learning. And if you get tired of reading, there's audio books. Everything is placed online right
And they
now
on
too.
YouTube for free.
Yeah,
Lots of them.
yeah, and it's just it's
There's
just
no excuse.
and I hope I'm never too old to get to the point where
You think you know everything.
and I don't want to learn anymore.
Right.
So it's I really hope uh us sharing some of our knowledge, wisdom, understanding is can help you, because you want to be at that point in life, because all of you listening have something to offer, and if it's not received, you have to be like Abraham. You have to leave that land. You have to leave the land of your fathers. You know, you you have to be like Christ. You have to leave. Because when your knowledge or wisdom or yourself is not welcome, you move on. That sometimes mean physically leaving, but most of the time it's just me,
In your
dep-
mind.
yeah, departing in your mind, or
Yeah.
departing from that person or those persons or that situation,
Yeah. And not putting yourself in that situation.
because your
Or be.
knowledge is important to somebody.
Yeah.
What you've learned in life, what you went through,
Mm-hmm.
you're here for a purpose, regardless of what anybody say. There's a purpose for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I go through life trying to tell young people, especially young people that made the wrong turn in life, that this is not the end. When you and I ask the question sometimes, so you feel like you've been through so much that this your life is finished now, right? He said, "Yeah, exactly." I said, "Well, it's not. You just gotta live a little longer." I say you'll move forward, and you'll write a book about this moment, and 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 that's so true with so many things in life while you're
Yeah.
going through. And I've been there in the military, especially. I go back to the military because I
I've
spent,
been there. I've
yeah,
been there
yeah,
in many things.
yeah,
Oh my goodness. You feel like you're gonna die. You feel like you nobody else has been there. Nobody else ever done it. Or if they did, it wasn't as bad as yours. It wasn't as bad as your situation. And nobody else. And you feel just like, oh my God, am I gonna ever make it through? Am I gonna ever get to the other side? That's what you feel like. But the truth of the matter is, yes, you will. If you keep living, you got to keep living. You got to keep living. I know I made light of that just now, but I'm serious about that, because there's a lot of people that are out here struggling in their mental health, because of so much craziness in the world, and people are struggling, and they're thinking about, this is the worst time in their life, and young people, and that hurts our heart, because you think you haven't even had a chance to live. You don't even know what life is. You ain't even made it to 30, and that's about right when you start living. I said, but you haven't even made it there, and it's the worst time in your life, and you can't see past it. That's a hurting thing. That is like, oh my God, and every time I see it, it just hurts my heart, because I know that all they needed was somebody to encourage them to just keep living. My grandmother used to say that all the time. That was her thing. She would say, I would ask her something and I would be all upset and all full of drama, and she would say, in her quiet way, just live a little longer. Just live a little longer. And I never really understood what that meant, except it means to just live a little longer. Just keep living, keep going, keep growing, keep changing, keep shifting, keep doing what you're doing, you know? And I understand it now. I understand it. Isn't it something how when you're young and you hear those things and people tell you, different sayings, especially in the South, oh my God, we have so many sayings, and you're like, what does that mean? And you're scared to ask, right, baby? You're scared to ask what it means, but you don't know what it means, but the energy behind it, and you know what you better do, that kind of thing. But yeah, and then you grow up and you realize, and sometimes you start saying those things, like I never realized that bless your heart wasn't a good thing when they said that to you. I thought they were really talking about blessing your heart, but that's not what that means. Ah, but yeah, so just make sure that when you are together, and this is the one thing that we want to make sure that we get across each and every time that we come on here, is to pursue unconditional love. Pursue unconditional love. you know that means loving without conditions. That means regardless of what happens. That means what they say when you go stand before the preacher, in sickness and in health, till death do you part. And I don't know, I think they said something about abundance and wealth or something like that when we got married, right? But that's not, to me, abundance is greater than wealth. Wealth is included in abundance, but abundance is like holistic health to me. It's like holism, like everything in every area, you know.
Just be about sharing sharing your knowledge for whoever is appreciative of it.
Yeah.
And like I said, I go back to the military point of view because I spent more time at the job of soldiering than any other job in my life. And starting at 17, it becomes a part of you, where it don't really leave you. It becomes a mindset. It becomes a way of life. It becomes a, a skill set. You use in almost everything you do. It it's one of the parts of knowledge I got. It's being patient and being slow to speak and quick to listen, because some of you be shocked how many times you have to bite your tongue in life if you work in an organization like the military. Like for instance, you talk about using wisdom and understanding. It's I remember being stationed in the submarine capital of the world in Groton, Connecticut, and it's something they want to do because they don't. Back in the day, I think it's still true now, because dentists and dental technicians are hard to come by in the military, so they don't have them on submarines, even your bigger boats. Uh, and so they wanted to take out your wisdom teeth. And back then, I had perfect teeth, and I said, "No, you're not taking them out." So I had to go in front of what you call a lieutenant commander, which is not lieutenant commander, but commander, which is a pretty high rank, right under captain in the Navy. And he shouted at me, but by then I had been in a little bit over 2 years, and I knew about reading and studying, and I knew you just still had certain rights even in the military. And and he said, "Don't you know I can order you to have these teeth removed?" And when I stood in front of that commander and I said, "Due to all respect, sir," and that's basically how you approach that. But most people don't have the nerve to say that to a commander. I said, "I'm not going to let anybody do this." But through life, being tactful and thinking about what you say and what you do will help you go a long ways. That's just advice from us from being through life, you know. And some people might think you're afraid, and we live in a generation now where everybody feels like they have to do stuff so fast and so quick. I just took my car to a dealership. Took our car to a dealership that the brand that we bought it from, and the young man there that was checking in my vehicle was talking so fast. He didn't take a breath. He didn't waste a breath. And some of you younger people do this. He didn't take a breath to even see what I really wanted or nothing. He just went, and he had a system and he stuck to it. And I had to speak over him to get him to listen, because he said, "Well, sir, if you don't have an appointment," and I said, "I'm going to leave the vehicle." "Oh, so you have a ride?" Or you and that made a difference, you know. And because he's ready to turn me away. I don't know if you know, these car dealership has, especially the new car dealerships, have been pretty busy. They don't lack in the department of repair. So they're not hiring enough people. Probably they're not paying them enough.
You already know.
And so you have to wait for everything. So just some advice and tips on that. Don't wait to make an appointment. Just take your vehicle there. Take Uber, Lyft, a friend, your
Love
significant
mine.
other to get back and go back in there and pick your vehicle. Back in the day, almost every dealer used to give you a loaner vehicle.
Oh, they
Not
had a
happening.
courtesy van.
Not happening hardly no more. They give you a free Lyft or Uber, but you're gonna pay for it because they're gonna include it in the bill. You're gonna see it as free, but like I said, so that's just some advice for us. So continue to tap the screen, show us love. We're on a few platforms right now. Make sure you follow Tammy. Follow us both, but Tammy's world known, and we travel often. If we happen to be in your neighborhood and you hit us up and you happen to see us in your part of the world, we believe in breaking bread with different people, and Tammy has a few books out. She can sign the book or whatever. But look us up. We're personal people. We hope we'll always be like that. Um, and we enjoy meeting some of the followers and some of the readers. Tammy's on a lot of platforms more than me, right? Like I said, like right now we're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and right at this moment, YouTube. Right at this moment, we're streaming from. So just feel free to stay connected. You know, we love to hear your advice on what we should talk about. Your input.
I was gonna say, you have any suggestions
Right.
for some content for us to talk about, because we love to come on here and share, and we felt compelled to do it because tonight we was gonna skip it. But we said, we're here, let's just go ahead and do it, but yeah, that was the plan. Because as you can see, we're relaxing it's Sunday, but yeah, so we were like, nah, we people are used to seeing us, so we'll come on. We don't want to disappoint anybody.
We can also talk about things as something else is not shared. What are you going through for retirement? Are you deciding to work past the 62, this the 66 in
Almost
9 months or 7 months, or the 65, or what, or even the 70? And what are you planning for? My biggest questions when we get to those areas, when I meet people that retire early, have you ever ran out of money? Have you ever been close? I'm grateful for residual income, businesses. Um, I'm grateful for a few retirements myself, and and that's just some of the things that we can share and we can focus on, because the world don't really prepare us for living longer. And matter of fact, we are living longer. If my grandparents can live in the hundreds, it can easily happen. And in some of the Asian countries, it's happening, and some of the African countries, it's happening, 120 plus, and what have you.
South America.
I had a person, a younger person, in their 20s just recently. When I told them that part about the over 100, you want to live that long? I said, as long as I'm healthy. I said, how long do you want to live? Well, I figure 60 or so. And I'm like, oh my goodness, to myself, because somebody in their 20s sometimes don't realize that, because when I was younger, my mother thought she was old at 32, and a lot of people in the neighborhood in their 50s, they were pretty much mentally in a rocking chair, if you know what I'm saying. So it's a different world. That's a whole nother subject, but these are some things we can connect on, because society don't really prepare us. They tell you to throw your money in a 401k plan and forget about it. But 401k need a little bit more than a prayer, So you have to have something going on with that. I mean, praying is good, but you have to have faith and works. But a lot of people, they're ready to throw prayers in there a lot of times, but you have to do your work. You have to. When Jesus walked the earth, he prepared, and he sent people before him to prepare. So that's something we have to do. We have to prepare. It's great to pray, but you have to work. You have to put in the work.
Yeah.
So that said, Tammy,
I think we can call it.
Tammy said we can call it.
Yeah.
Oh, now, what are we calling, Tammy? Oh, we're calling it.
Yes.
Okay. We really enjoyed talking to you. I enjoyed Tammy. We don't get to see each other enough either, because I'm on a 12-hour shift sometime, and the job is not always easy. It's challenging. Some of you know exactly where I'm coming from. We're living in challenging times, and I thank God for a reason of being out here, and being able to still work and really enjoy my work, and enjoy putting into people and seeing people turn their lives around, and the kind of work I do, and it's wonderful. So that said, love, peace, and happiness.
Mm-hmm.
And don't forget to drop us some notes. Continue tapping the screen for a little while after we get off. TikTok allow you to do that. The rest of you go back and listen to this. If you started late, give us some love, share it out, uh, um, and again, comment.
And make sure you follow me on YouTube.
Yeah.
Follow me on YouTube.
Hey, you can follow me too. I forgot I'm on YouTube.
Yeah, follow us on YouTube. Because I got some amazing stuff. And if you are somebody that is changing the planet and you want to come on my show, hit me up for that as well. And just kind of Google me and check some things out.
Yeah, Google Tammy.
Because people need to know.
They need to know what they don't know.
All right. So good night to y'all. And good night for us. Whatever it is, you're in your neck of the woods. Thank you for joining us. We always have a wonderful time. But we out of here.
Love, peace, and happiness. Let's play that back.